Pray for the Z's behind you. Woo-wee, you gasp. I have made it to the mount. I have made it to the top of Mount Everest today. You glance back, see the winding path you just traveled up, and give a triumphant "Gringa!" Mountain man, or woman, yell to all of the soldier ants behind you, winding their way up the course from the valley below. You should take a moment to empathize with them as you realize that their journey to the finish will be far longer in time than yours, and thus far harder. You will likely be crying at this point. Anywhere between miles 16 through 24, your mind will start pumping out mothering hormones, endorphins, religious epiphanies, THC, and opiate derivatives. For me, this happens at mile 23, which is coincidentally where you are now in the race. Waves of euphoria flash through your brain. You move from the depths of despair to the heights of opiate ecstasy. For me, the feeling is equivalent to whole-body orgasms with hints of lemon, disassociation, cold, clammy sweat, all mixed up through a blender and injected directly into my bloodstream. Tears inevitably and unconsciously ensue. If you don't have a similar experience while racing, you have failed. These waves of emotions are an affirmation that your race is going well, that you have paced yourself well, and that you are almost done. Soon you will be able to rest. The tears are a natural process of a mind forcing a body to run for longer and harder periods than the body considers necessary. These waves occur because successfully ignoring your body's intrusions, calling out to your brain for rest. Ignore these entreaties until the race has been completed. Instead, focus on smiling, reflecting on the day's events thus far, and imagining the pure, unadulterated relish of sitting down with an ice-cold sugary soda after the race. Appreciate the compliments. You are on the downhill now. Your legs are battered from miles of running. As the baseball bats take swings at your quads, remind yourself of the mantra. Z, put your pain in a box. Lock the key. You can open the box after the race and deal with the pain afterwards. Racing is just as much a mental challenge as it is a physical challenge. You are racing yourself rather than anyone else. You should realize this by later stages in the race. The race is not about the other Z's and how you fare against them. It is about you being outside, challenging yourself, and having a damn good time at it. The pain in your legs will lessen with a few deep strides. The pain of your legs will lessen with a few deep breaths. But the gods of racing have shown no pity on you, and as an additional challenge have set up a jagged glass minefield for your descent. You precipitously jog, jump, scrape, and walk your way across granite and obsidian points erupting from the surface of the ridgeline like some sort of geographic querulous porcupine. Focus on the task at hand, not falling too hard. Pick your feet up here, high, step, in quick time like a marching band. Your legs must be agile to succeed here, not trip. You're moving through this minefield and you hear someone on your right. Hey, Z, I like your ass. You're stuck by how informal this approach at conversation is. And then you remember, well, this is a race, and I am mostly naked, and well, with the glistening sweat and the tight low-cut running shorts, the hairy chest, the firm tight legs, and butt, I probably do cut a pretty good figure through the skyline. That is why I race, right? You giggle warmly and offer good luck, hup hup, as you pass. It is best not to look around, or you'll realize that you are still being ogled by the overly friendly Z. Later that night, your significant other will tell you that while working at an aid station, she met the funniest old Z in polka dot shorts who couldn't stop talking about some other Z's motivational hot behind. You laugh as you realize that you made that Z's day. I too will be an old Z someday, you think. I hope that I have such a healthy outlook on racing and people watching when I grow up. Beware the labyrinth. Beautiful mountains recede on your left, and a quickly approaching city skyline looms to your right. You have almost made it. You are unsure of how many miles are left, as the mile markers only offer relative help. You can sense the close proximity of the finish line, like a thirsty traveler lost in the desert. The finish line has to be close, you think. I've been out here on the trail for hours. I'm tired and thirsty and sick of moving. I just want to lie still for a while and enjoy the calmness. The floating memory of sitting vanishes as you see the first of the spectators cheering from a dilapidated house directly in front of you. Must be college kids, you think. Who else would sit in a porch at 11 a.m. drinking cheap beer and cheering strangers? You wave, smile, and pick up your pace to a lively trot as you pass by. Their cheering invigorates you more than you realized it would, and emotions of sheer joy come over your face. You think Oh God, not the opiate rushes again. I can't handle crying twice today. The thoughts of joy fade as you realize that you are turning left, away from the heart of the city and towards the outskirts. This is a common trick of race organizers. They like to keep the downtown streets moving with as much car traffic as possible. Therefore, before entering the city, you will merely flirt with its boundaries, escorted on a maze around the perimeter, despite the fact that your fuel levels are far shorter than those of the cars being taken on a direct path through the city. Don't worry, this is close to the end, as there will be fans along the course to assist in keeping your spirits up. A policeman ignores you as you run through the city streets. Once you are 50 feet past, he yells, "Hey Z, you missed the turn!" "Hard," you grumble. Why could he have not directed me to the turn when I was near it? I'm half delirious and he is simply watching all the half-naked folks run through the streets. His job seems so much easier. You backtrack and notice that there is no sign indicating a turn. However, there are signs of previous foot traffic. You realize the police officer is probably being paid to direct runners down this trail. You make a mental note to yourself to pay more attention to police officers in the future at races. Apparently, they enjoy a good spacing out and daydreaming session like most Z's. Mid-thought, and not paying attention to the trail, you suddenly slip and tumble on the wet mud as you are leaving the sidewalk. It is okay. Do not panic. If you make it through a race without a few cuts and bruises and mud strings, then you probably have not raced hard enough. This is all part of the marathon